He's a great entertainer, but he sang about it as something that is a game where he's the winner and the maga, the white man, is the loser. Now, I feel like even if you want to sing about internet fraud, it is not complete if you don't point out that this is where it leads. This day, Olamide, of course, the guy that owns Yahoo Boy No Laptop. What a name! What a name! Nollywood really is not left out. We have the likes of KOK, just a little sacrifice for big benefits.
Hey, welcome to the Triumphant Tribe podcast, the ultimate podcast for insightful conversations aimed at giving young people positive outcomes in life. In each episode, we talk about all things life, including finance, relationships, personal growth, and trending issues from a diverse range of guests. Hop on board the Triumphant Tribe podcast and let's embark on this incredible journey of triumph together. You can listen to the Triumphant Tribe on Spotify and YouTube. You can also find the Triumphant Tribe at Titi by Wiz on TikTok and Instagram, where we'll be having highlights of our episodes. Feel free to leave comments on specific topics you'd like the tribe to discuss in the comment section of our social media posts. Thanks for tuning in today, and be sure to check us out every week for new updates. Hello, listeners. Welcome once again to the Triumphant Tribe podcast. This is the second season, the second episode in the second season. So today we're talking about the role of the music industry, the entertainment industry, that's music and Nollywood generally, internet fraud, and how it affects Nigerian youth. To explore how the media portrayal of lyrics and on-screen narratives may influence perceptions and choices. Join us as we analyze this complex intersection of art, culture, and societal challenges, aiming to gain a deeper understanding of the impact these influential platforms might have on the choices made by young individuals in Nigeria.
All right. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Is it evening? I don't know. Depending on whichever part of the world you're in. So, I don't know who remembers this fashion concept where young boys and young girls wear glasses that have frames but no glasses. You actually wear an eyeglass but there's no glass. It's just the frames. You've seen something like that before, Abby?
Yes, I think most notable should be fouls.
Exactly.
I have seen it. I'm even a victim of it.
Victim?
Oh, I was.
Do something
yes.
Finish. You do something finish. You can't claim victim. That's how we met.
I did now.
Don't rush claim victim. Hey, God. I asked that question actually to paint a picture of something, or to accentuate something that our celebrities, our music icons and all of that they exert a lot of influence in the society. And that is what necessitates the topic today, talking about the role of music and Nollywood when it comes to Yahoo and Nigerian youth. I mean, Nollywood is such a huge industry. The biggest movie industry is Hollywood, and I think followed by Nollywood before the Bollywood guys join. Either Nollywood is second or third. Nollywood is that huge. And I know also that if you speak to most Africans, I think I've particularly seen it with the ladies than the guys. If you speak to most Africans that have seen Nigerian Nollywood, they typically tend to have ideas, especially those that saw Nollywood previously. Jazz, juju, all those kind of things. They will know places like Lagos, and yeah, because of the influence of Nollywood. Looking at Yahoo, there's actually a role, or we can see some direct links between music and Yahoo, Nollywood, and Yahoo. So the way today's discussion is going to go is going to be very real, in the sense that we're not just going to talk. That's why I had to highlight different artists, their songs, and the lyrics. I mean, Maga don't pay, shout hallelujah. Interesting lyrics, very interesting lyrics. And we used to even sing it, myself included. I mean, they sing nonsense, sha. So I don't know.
We dey sing Yahoo.
I swear, I mean, they follow sing that year. I don't even know. It's today I'm even looking at that Maga don't pay, shout hallelujah. That's how they used to sing. And then they'll now say hallelujah, hallelujah. You get that kind of thing. And in fact, that aside, there's one guy I know. Would I say I know? Okay, we're not friends, but he somehow had my number because of somewhere I used to work at. The guy added me to a WhatsApp group where they are sharing ideas about that kind of thing, sharing tools and resources. And I didn't leave the group. I'm just there to observe. I've never said anything. I just look them. In the morning, he'll post, say, person waste sip Gary for morning, feed the chop better food, I be buy motor for evening. Now God they run them. Oh God. The clients of these people, honestly, it be like assigns the clients of these people that God they suffer pass. Because how? Just how? I don't know, Sha. Is there anything you want to say before I pick the songs?
What God cannot do does not exist.
Exactly. Including making Maga to pay. And the same person go collect Jazz, because I mean Yahoo these days has upgraded from just Yahoo to Yahoo Plus, and whatever you can think of. Is it not? Now they even sell. In fact, selling kidneys is now outdated. Selling kidneys, that's something I wanted to touch in last week's episode, but somehow I couldn't touch it. Hello, boom.
Yes, I'm available. I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm going to say something there. Selling kidneys or body parts.
Okay.
Hello,
Sell.
Can you hear
You
me?
want to sell? Yeah, I can hear you. Do you want to sell, or you have an agent?
Do you have any body parts to give me? Let me sell it.
I can sell my hair. I can sell my hair. I can.
Please sell your heart.
My heart is locked through wakey. You won't break them.
But I agree with you. The days of selling body parts is almost outdated these days. Because remember the time, I think early last year and in 2020, 21, 22, where there was this popular saying, somebody would say, cut soup for me. Where you go collect, the way you go wash face. It's really rampant. Nowadays, they even have to get extra powers from wherever, and then they go as far as getting cooked. I saw a video of some boys being put on fire. The fire was burning them, and they said that's how you get protection. So that immediately when you step out, you can make money. That is for those that are doing it in a very ritual way. And then there are other people that have to stay up awake probably all night because of the difference in time zone, just to be able to chat with the people they want to scam. And you see a young boy faking to sound like a girl, they sound like a young lady, sending love messages and all of those to the people they want to scam.
He actually doesn't
crazy.
make it again these days. Sure, you know.
Yeah, you may say that.
Because
I was
the girls are supporting their men. They're actually babes that do it. Yeah. They're actually babes that do it
yeah.
for the right amount.
Let's talk about that aspect where they get to draw their girlfriends, their sisters, their friends, even someone on the street into this kind of business. They tell you when Maga pay, we're going to give you your own share. I have a friend that is big, and he also has business to cover up all of these kind of things. And then one time, the day he told me he wanted to run an advert on my show, and then we met. And I'm like, guy, I know when you started now, guy. What's up? What's up? Pin me the map, you get. And then he told me this is Zito. And there was the first time he first started, he was trying to whine me if I can. He only told me to help him make calls, but I wasn't understanding, so I didn't agree to it. So he came up to tell me this is Zito. And I now said, who makes these calls for you? And he said it's Babe. And you need to see the lifestyle the Babe now lives.
Exactly.
She's carrying the latest iPhone.
You see, because
What?
you were making it look like they coerce the chicks. It's not coercion. I mean,
No, they do. They do.
no, chill. If you, Jennifer, right?
There are some cases like that.
No, if you coerce somebody, it puts you at risk of exposure, right? The person has to be a willing participant. It puts you at risk of exposure, because being that it is something you're making money from,
When Maga pays,
compensate the person. You can compensate the babe from there.
exactly.
I'm also saying, if you, Jennifer, is dating or you're married to somebody that what kind of business would I even say? Okay, you are married to a pastor. Good. A lot of the times when women get to be married to pastors, the next when they become pastor missus, them supporting the husband's work, or yeah, that kind of thing. So it is the same thing she's doing. This is the guy's ministry, in quote, running a fraud business, and the babe being somebody that was already comfortable with it. And you see, this is a very big topic, because that's why I said at some point we're going to talk about the effect of these guys in the dating pool. I always look at them like you have a swimming pool that is white or close to, no, not white. Water is not white. They taught me in primary school. This head,
Water is colorless.
water is colorless. Yeah, the swimming pool is almost completely colorless, because I mean the dating pool is never really clean, right? And somebody just comes with one very strong colorant or something, pours it into the pool and stains the entire pool, right? So it's either you continue bathing in the dirty pool or swimming in the dirty pool, or you come out if you can't with the dirtiness, right? That's how I see these guys. And I feel like, I don't just feel like there's substantial evidence to actually put it as out there as a fact that when they leave these girls, right, these girls are not the same person as the same people that they were when they met the guys.
That's true.
There's actually an effect for everybody you born with to such level. You people rub off on each other. She rubs off on the guy rubs off on her. But in such cases, the guy is much more dominant and is the one that's rubbing off the more on the girl.
That's true.
When he leaves, okay, I'll just say one more thing before I pause and then you continue speaking. I know of somebody that used to date somebody. Now the guy's name, let's just use initials, is E, and then he had a girlfriend, so let's just call her E's girlfriend. They broke off at some point, and then one of those days, all of us that were mutuals were just gisting, and one of us now asked the guy, how far your babe? He said, which one? The guy that knew the babe, because me, I didn't know her personally. I knew the guy. The guy that knew the babe now mentioned the babe's name. He was like, that one, I don't leave him. You get that kind of thing. So the guy that asked of the girl now said, who is she now with? The guy now responded that she's not with anybody. That the kind of life he had exposed her to, nobody can keep up, nobody can match it. Just imagine, the girl's head is messed up now.
God, I beg. God, I beg.
It's not just about the unrealistic expectations that she's going to be having. Her general outlook, her value system is going to be damaged, because what are you doing with a guy that defrauds people of their life savings?
That's right.
This guy is supposed to be providing for you if you people get to marry, right? So you're very comfortable with a guy providing for you with stolen money just because he's not using a gun? Wow.
Well, sometimes I feel they don't know, like, the subordinates, the people, like, let's say the girl in this case, they don't really know the magnitude of what they are doing. They don't know how it means for someone to lose money, how heartbroken it can be. It's the closest thing to dying.
You know that thing they used to say is not that deep. You heard it before?
Yeah, it's not that deep.
It's not that deep. That's a common language for
Phrase.
shallow people, or phrase for shallow people to use to escape accountability and stuff like that. Now, this is a young woman that is over 18, that is a full-blown adult. She knows what she's doing, but she just doesn't want to think about it because it's not that deep.
You know, let me come in there. Something happened sometime on my show, the Amebo Corner show, and then somebody called in to give a case that a young girl above 18 gave birth to her child and then buried her child. She did this while she was still in her mother's house. So now people started saying, it's the devil's work, you know. And then some people say, was she not ready for this? And I'm left with the thought of, because you are able to carry a child doesn't mean that you are ready to home a family. It doesn't mean you are ready to take the responsibility. This young girl may be above 18 years, as you can see, most of the time is in clubs. You could see them hanging around, they're doing the remi for them. They are very young girls, you know. They may be that young, they may be over 18, but they don't even know the impact of the decisions that they are making. A young guy buys you iPhone 14, he pays money to make your hair, like a fellow young guy like you, and you feel you've arrived.
Think about it. They don't think.
They don't know. They don't. I saw
about it because it makes them comfortable to consume it. If you don't think about it, it makes you comfortable to consume it.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't want us to make the excuse of they are above 18, they should be above 18, but they don't even make the right decisions for themselves.
It's actually factual. It's not an excuse. It's factual, because if she commits a crime, she's going to be held liable. You've crossed the age. You've crossed the age of responsibility. You're supposed to be responsible. If you're not responsible, then that is on you. That's why the idea of this podcast is having conversations where young people are positioned for the best outcomes in life. And we've looked at it that your outcomes are most of the time based on accumulated decisions that you've been making, accumulated choices that you've been making. So if you're making choices without thinking about them, what outcomes are you looking to? Are you just living for the moment? What are you doing around a Yahoo boy? this conversation is beginning to tend towards another direction. We're supposed to be discussing music and Nollywood. So don't worry, if you want to talk about it, we can do that after the podcast. She's smiling. All right, so I'm going to start with the first song here. So somebody tweeted something some time ago. What opinion on Nigerian music would get you in this position? Joey Akpan responded, Afrobeat Hall of Fame will never be complete without honorary mentions to Yahoo Boys, who funded and kept alive an industry with no institutional or corporate funding. I just saw Boom's message. This guy is not serious. Check the chat, Jennifer.
Yeah, I've seen it.
No,
I was wondering why he was so quiet.
We haven't introduced ourselves. If you want to know the voices that are speaking, you can watch the previous episode. You should not be watching episodes. Watch this one. You don't watch the others. Watch the previous episode. You know all of us. Okay, except Jennifer. Jennifer wasn't in the last episode. Watch the one before that one. If she's not still there, watch the one before that one.
Please do listen. I don't know why he's saying watch.
Oh, listen. No, you can actually watch on YouTube, but you just think it's an audiogram, Sha. And I'm also saying watch because I'm actually looking at your face now. So he said something here. I was reading something where he interrupted me. To Yahoo Boys, who funded and kept alive an industry with no institutional or corporate funding. It's a reality we hate to admit, but a huge part of Nigerian music history and success we built on cybercrime. You know, one of the most popular record labels in the country, Boom. Hello? Yes. Boom, are you still here?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Why, these guys, YBNL. You know what it means?
Yes.
Yahoo Boy, no laptop. And here's somebody tweeting that the industry was built on Yahoo money. Well, there's a lot around that actually points to the fact that tends to be, there's a higher chance that is true than that it is not true. Now, Bella Shmurda in an interview was asked, let's even make it simpler. So Boom, you're going to ask me if I've eaten today, right? Just ask me if I've eaten today.
I've eaten today.
Well, you know, I've been very busy the entire day. I've been moving around from morning till night, and when you're an active person like this and you have to move around, you spend energy, you do certain things to make up for that energy. Ask me again if I've eaten. Okay, no. Say to me, does that mean you've eaten? Or does that mean you've not eaten? Yeah.
Does that mean you've not eaten?
I didn't say I have not eaten. Neither did I say I have eaten. What does that sound like? What does that directed conversation just sound like between two of us right now?
It sounds like yeah, you've eaten, probably you're trying to hide it.
Exactly. Exactly. You see, there's actually a video where Bella Shmurda was interviewed and he was asked if he has been involved in internet fraud before, because he was talking about a couple of guys he used to roll with that used to do Yahoo. If he was personally involved in internet fraud. And he goes ahead to say that as a young person, there are certain things you do to survive, and then that when when you're trying to survive, you do certain things. And then he's now asked again, so does that mean you didn't do internet fraud? He said, I didn't say I did not do it. And then he doesn't also say if he did it. So that's him evading. But then at the same time, Even while evading, he's tilting to one side. And now, Cash App is his most played song on Spotify and YouTube. Over 6 million and 18 million streams respectively. And the song is directly singing about internet fraud. That's his most played song on Spotify and YouTube. I wish I get. Okay, no, Jennifer, you can continue.
Okay, another thing that I've noticed is most times these artists are not even involved in Yahoo, but they have friends. When I say artists, yeah, I'm coming. When I say artists, it involves skit makers as well. Now, especially skit makers. So now, sometimes they are personally not even doing this, but they have friends. They have friends who do this and fund their music and their skits. You see, you're watching publicity.
Publicity for
Now, this is it. They give them money to. That's why I said they fund the skits or their music. You see,
More like
the
an
case
investment.
Yes, exactly.
investing for what?
Yes,
Yes.
Because
So,
you're investing, you're
like, okay, let me
return on
explain.
investment.
That's what I'm saying. Let's take, for instance, a fraud guy, like he owns a record label. You get me? And the best way he can wash that money is through that record label. He calls
Good.
it talented folk. He puts the
Good.
money, he promotes his video, promotes his songs, and the royalties for the artist, is coming to the record label. So, that one can actually be audited. So
Yeah,
that's more
that's
like washing the
clean
money,
money.
gives him his cut
Yeah.
and say, okay, yes, and say this is your share from your
That's
royalties,
how
and
they
he
clean
takes
the money.
yes, and he takes the money like the larger sum because he's the one who funded his session and all.
This setup you're describing actually works. It could work because if you say they are just funding, it's popularly said, "Show me your friend, and I'll tell you who you are." Apostle John Abi, what's his name? Selman said something. If you can count 5 fools around you, you did not count well. There are 6, right? So if you can count 5 Yahoo boys around you, you did not count well because it's very likely that there are 6. I, for one, cannot really keep guys that are Yahoo boys. Before I used to tolerate it, but now I don't even have tolerance for it at all. If I know you do it, or I even suspect that you do it, I might confront you, I might not confront you. Of course, if I confront you, you'd most likely lie, or you try to evade it. But if I go doing my fact finding and then I realize that it's looking like you do it, what business have I with you? I don't move over, I beg. I might not necessarily just drop you off like that, but we can't be close. We can't be close. That's how I just see it. But in the case where they are using them to wash fraud money, yes, it really makes sense. Because that's what Joey Akpan said now. That the industry was built on that. Timi Dakolo at some point I think also tweeted about condemning that, and he was attacked, massively attacked on the internet, because they said that he was benefiting from a system and now is castigating the same system that was built on fraud money that he benefited from. 2004, the band sang a song of escaping the British police. Mobolowolon, I don't even sabi. Boom, waiting me that song. After being wanted for credit card scams, the next year in came Owo, that's Ukwa, sang "I Go Chop Your Dollar." Hi, me the singer.
Oyibo man, I go chop your dollar.
I go. Then now you be I be the master. A national airport na me build am. National this thing na me do am. All those kind of things. So that's just one of the first songs that spoke about internet fraud. And he didn't speak about internet fraud as something that is bad. He spoke about internet fraud as something that is a game. I could call it a wonderful game. I mean, because it sounds very interesting from the lyrics. Ukwa is somebody I like. I like his movies. He's a great entertainer. But he sang about it as something that is a game where he's the winner and the maga, the white man, is the loser. Now, I feel like even if you want to sing about internet fraud, it is not complete if you don't point out that this is where it leads. It's like saying choose ye this day after you've wholesomely portrayed what both sides are. You can't just say this is what internet fraud can give to you, the luxuries and all of that. The problems we face today, where our passport is let me not say utterly useless sometimes, but our passport is so weak, disrespected, where people that have to travel out are looked at again and again, not just because of internet fraud, but because of drugs and all of that. Drugs, that one, maybe we'll do that in a different season. But you see that these are consequences on the general population of the actions of these guys, right? And I started first by pointing to Ross how Fowles, as a musician, created a fashion trend of going around with glasses, be just glass frames and no glasses. So if you have music artists that are capable of so much influence and a young population that are very, very impressionable listening to these guys, and all these guys sing about is fraud, glorifying fraud, painting a life of luxury with fraud, making it look like a game where you just win and the other person is a sore loser, right? I mean, you just lost only your retirement benefits. What is there? You're living in a better country. Your grandparents robbed my own grandparents. Why are you crying? Because that's how they say it. They make it look like they are trying to recover back what was gotten from them during the colonial or pre-colonial era. I really don't know. Said, you be the Mugu, I be the master. I go chop your dollar. And then it was reported that Ukwa Nkem was arrested in Amsterdam in 2007 over a suspected lottery-based scam, but released hours later. And it was in that same year, 2007, that Olumente sang Yahuze, the song that he sang about hammering, which is like local slang for making it big, right? Then the following year, 2008, Kelly Handsome sang Maga Don't Pay. Maga Don't Pay, shout hallelujah, right? That's just when all of this. Why should they smile?
I wanted to complete the song. Oh, my God, don't pay. Shout hallelujah. Oh. I used to scream that song back in the day. What did I know?
As a child then, I sang those songs with no meaning attached, just a song.
Exactly. Yeah.
In fact, some of the lyrics would just sing nonsense, joy. And imagine that growing up, maybe you had it tough. Your parents could not provide some basic things for you, not because they didn't want to, but because they couldn't afford to. And then those lyrics begin to make sense to you. Tell me you will not be tempted. And this is what somebody is putting out there as music. It's even singing shout hallelujah.
I feel it's not even big, like as in the Afrobeat community, as compared to the hip hop community over there in abroad. It's something else.
No, for those ones, although that's a different group, we are more of, yeah, we don't mind that people outside Nigeria might be listening to this podcast, but we also, I'm thinking also, the focus is positive outcomes for Nigerian youths. For those outside, maybe the African American community in places like US, theirs is not internet fraud, theirs is street violence, theirs is thuggery. So that, if you notice, most of their rap, which is what is popular there, is about those kind of life. So here we have Afro,
And music influences it.
exactly. So all of that, and then we also know Naira Marley's own. Waiting me that in song self. Boom. Do you remember?
Yeah, oh boy. Am I oh boy?
After that EFCC thing, the whole 2000 era, good. And then you also have Zlatan. You have so the list just goes on and on. I think even Nice is there. Olamide, of course, the guy that owns Yahoo
YBNL.
Yahoo boy no laptop. What a name. And then if we even go to Nice's own is singing about living things. Another song that depicts fraud. Able God, Zlatan. This just goes on and on. The list just goes on and on. I mean, if we want to talk about this, we could talk about this an entire day, picking each song line by line and analyzing the lyrics. But then, it's just sad. It's sad, really. It's sad. The glorification of internet fraud these days is becoming something else. And Nollywood is not left out. Nollywood really is not left out. We have the likes of KOK, just a little sacrifice for big benefits, right? A little sacrifice, bring two people.
Kanayo.
Exactly. Bring two people. Because that's the step that makes it a plus, right? The ritualism involved. Just this week, a young girl in Ibadan who just got a, how do they call that thing? If you finish
Certificate.
No, when you finish from maybe pharmacy, medicine, nursing. No, it starts with IND. Induction, yeah. Inducted into their nursing something. She got killed the next day when they went to the court to celebrate. Her body was found with her womb gone. Yeah. Her body was found with her womb gone. That's not a normal death. That's not a death that the person killed her because she did something to him. Because I'm going to assume it was a male. That's not a normal death. She most likely didn't do anything to that person. The womb it sounds like something that the person is hunting for rituals.
Wow.
So you see videos of these boys saying incantations while speaking to the maga that they are hoping to pay. Right? You see them saying incantations, having secret charms and all of that. Whether these charms work or not, what matters is that they believe this charm.
There is a popular saying that what you believe works for you. That's why they just have to hang their faith in it.
Their own is that they believe in anything that can. You go see that person for money, they sing praise and worship. My God, don't pay, shout hallelujah. For evening, they chant incantation for Yoruba to make Maga fully pay. So they save.
Now that you've called that Yoruba people, are you ready? So are you saying they don't chant it in other languages?
Make I see the video first. The only ones I've seen, they are chanting in Yoruba. Even the Afrobeat is driven. If we are going to even narrow it down to tribe, the tribe that has contributed the most to Afrobeat and Nigerian music industry is the Yoruba. The tribe that has contributed the most to Nollywood is the Igbos. So it is not an issue of an agenda. It is just what it is. And I don't think people should be overly sensitive to the extent that we cannot say the truth even when we're seeing the truth. Right? I mean, if you check the schools where they have to put up laws regarding student parking because the students are driving too many cars, even with unverifiable sources of income, which state would that most likely be if it is not Lagos? In fact, the capital is
Ogun State.
Edo, Benin, Warri.
Edo is for the south, right? It's for the south, and for Edo, it's, I think it's even worse in Ambrose Ali than Uniben. And then if you leave Edo, it's Delta. But for the southwest, guy, you stay in the southwest, you see a small boy 17 years old, he carry 13 Pro Max. It's not an uncommon thing. He carry 13 Pro Max. The kind of discussion he has, and some of them at that young level, they are already thinking of making money to carry women. Waiting you they carry woman like no, I understand that. I understand that at that age some people had girlfriends. I don't know if I had, I did not have. That will never concern this discussion. Mine is that there's a difference between you having a girlfriend and you actually womanizing. So at that level, they're already thinking of money to fund such kind of lifestyle. That is what fraud does. The value system is eroded completely. The value system is eroded completely. So, yeah, I think what was I talking about before I got distracted by that? I think I was trying to talk about Kanayo. Oh, Kanayo.
Yes, in movies.
Sonorous.
So you see that it doesn't matter whether those things work or not. What matters the most is that they believe it does. And then beyond believing that it does, they can go to any extent to provide what is required. And these things don't ask you to bring sand. They don't ask you to go and bring stone. They don't even ask you to cut your hair and bring it. They ask you for very crazy things that will hurt other people for you to provide them. There was a girl, I think Elysionu or something, in Delta State, 2019, 22-year-old, that was murdered because a group of 3 boys were trying to plus their own Yahoo, and the plussing wasn't plussing. So they went to the Babalawo, and then the Babalawo was like, they do this one last sacrifice, just one sacrifice, say he go walk, something like that. And within 24 hours they had killed somebody, which was this girl. I think they paid somebody in the school, her school security or something, for the guy to allow them to drive past without being checked. 30k and all of that. They killed that girl, 22-year-old. The girl just did on her own. She no say no anything. So that's what I'm saying. Whether the Yahoo is going to, the plus is going to work or not, that is not what matters the most. What matters is that they think this thing works, and they think it works maybe because of personal experience. Well, for a lot of them it is not personal experience. A lot of them have been influenced by the things they see on Nollywood. Like I said, if you speak to a couple of Nigerians that have seen Nollywood, I'll be a couple of non-Nigerians who are Africans, so Africans that are not Nigerians that have seen Nollywood movies. You typically hear them talk about things like juju and all of that, because that is what they know about Nigeria from Nollywood. You get? So in this case, this is what these boys have learned from Nollywood. Nollywood was like a regular home entertainment thing for most of us growing up. Abi, are you still here?
Yes, I'm here.
So that's just it. And I think aside the names I've mentioned, Olamide, Zlatan, Naira Marley, Olu Kelly Handsome, Nkem Owo, that's Ukwa. Who again I never mentioned? Nice. There's also Lil Kesh. There's Captain.
Yeah, what happened to Lil Kesh?
I don't know. Lil Kesh, the only song he sang that I like, which I happen to know, is that song he said she wants a man that is handsome, 6 packs, sweet in the middle, but the pastor. What's it again? They talk science today where they study mascom.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a very perfect song, which is going to a very perfect song. I mean, it's a perfect song. Yeah. You know that song will be useful one day when it is time. Next month we'll be doing a this and that series. So I think we'll get to that using that song, because that's just it. So I've mentioned Lil Kesh, and then you have Captain, that his name is spelled as Kaptain. So I was saying these are the guys that sing songs that influence our society badly. And then we have Nollywood. Oh, how could I have forgotten Erica? So you see, just off my finger, even as somebody that doesn't listen to Nigerian music as much, I can count at least 10 guys. I can count at least 10 renowned guys in this industry that sing this kind of songs. And a lot of their fans will listen to this episode. I don't care if they will bring hit on me for whatever, but they'll listen to this episode and they'll be like, waiting concern you. If to say I held the music, for the worry say they I will concern me, I be no concern me. But because I am saying it as it should be said, that this thing is not right, it will now be an issue of waiting concern me. I don't know if there's anything that can be done, but I think the most that can be done is actually speaking to the guys that sing these songs, the likes of them, Naira Marley and the rest. Even if they don't mean it, they should tend to avoid singing these things, because whether they mean it or not, it is causing negative influences, right? It's giving off negative influences. And these songs were majorly sung from just about 2004, 2008, 2007. It started picking up speed. And then when did the economy of Nigeria start crashing like this? From about 2015, 2016. And then if you look at the data of internet fraud in Nigeria between then and now, the number just they triple every year. It just they triple. People leave school, people finish school, and then you have parents buy laptops for their kids to go and learn fraud. This is not his.
Most times these parents don't know about it. They don't know. They will tell them. Yes.
No.
Yes. So
I'm not saying buy laptop for the child to learn a skill. I'm saying buy laptop for the child to specifically learn Yahoo.
Okay, so I heard you. I'm trying to say, so far I haven't seen an incident like that. But what I have seen is a situation where the child told the parent that he mostly he wanted to learn some tech skills, and they gave him money for laptop. I've seen one, they bought laptop for him, but the guy used it to for yahoo yahoo instead of learning a skill. Most times the parents are unaware.
So he carry the laptop, stay for house, and me go HK.
They for house. The two cases I see, they in mama and papa house.
The one I know, the mama. In fact, I know one that he wasn't doing well. The senior sister is married to a Yahoo boy. Come, how does somebody even marry a Yahoo boy? You know that this is what your husband does. Guy, see this rot.
Even me, I'm always shocked.
This rot is deep. Now you're marrying a guy. You're marrying a guy that is not just going to be your husband. This guy is going to be the father of your children, the first role model to your sons. This guy is going to be solely responsible for providing for you. Now, so this guy is going to be a role model to your sons as a fraudster. So that means you're very fine with your kids turning out as fraudsters, right? This guy is going to provide for you. That means you're fine with being provided for with stolen money. Now, this is the problem of greed. No, I'm coming, because I have no issues with marrying somebody that is doing well, that can provide for you, but it should be about survival, not greed. It should be about survival, not greed. It should be somebody that you know that if peradventure as I'm going in, I'm pregnant, and then I cannot walk during the period of pregnancy. 1 year after the pregnancy, this guy can hold the family down without me really having to contribute much financially, right? If he does just enough to be able to sustain the family, that's good. But in a situation where you want to live the kind of life that you cannot afford for yourself, it is realistically not very possible like that. Not that it is not possible, but the chances are slimmer. But you just want to live that life, so you just define man we go come with Yahoo. So in that case, if he's a pastor, assuming this is his ministry, you now become pastor Mrs. So if he needs somebody to be using a female voice, you're there. But these days, who needs a female voice when there's deep fake? You know that there's deep fake as a service. Boom, you know that, right?
Yes.
So
it's very common now.
Jennifer wants to speak. Sorry, I forgot.
You said who needs the female voice when you want? I do. I need a female voice. I'm still waiting to harvest your heart. Anyways. Okay. So
I don't want to talk.
To add to what you said about why do certain women marry Yahoo boys, I like the fact that we said certain, because some people, you won't believe it, some people get into relationships, marriages, without knowing that these people are a party to this. You know that most matured Yahoo boys, once they do that, they take the money and grow in a business. So you meet a young man and he's making it. He tells you, I'm a businessman, I'm a trader, I'm a this, I'm a that. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of not closing your eyes over red flags for you to know or not to know that this person exactly. I must say, I am an example of that situation. Something happened. What year? That was 2021. It got to a point that I could have sweared and said, no, my friend, no, they do Yahoo. This my friend, na chorister. This my friend, na number one. He is the number one person in choir.
It did happen.
As I speak now, he's even a choir master. You get?
Yeah.
I made calls. EFCC raided that lodge and they picked some people and it was a man. And they told me later in the evening, and they released somebody that afternoon. They tried to make calls Abuja to see how they can release him. And a friend of mine called and said, "Are you sure this is your friend?" I said, I am sure. I know him like the back of my hand. My brothers, my sisters, and everyone that will be listening to this podcast. My friend stayed there for 2 weeks. And in the end, I realized that my friend built a website for money laundering. He has a share that goes to him. So they were only able to recover money from his Nigerian account. The guy was pretty smart. I'm telling you this because we were very close friends. And I never knew or I never saw him. I don't see him with laptops. Highest is watching a movie and it was a commercial accident. So sometimes some of these women, they don't look very well. And you get blinded by one thing or the other.
Yeah, I'm going to say something. First of all, your friend having to live that kind of life and putting you in that position, since he was just your friend, is actually a good thing that you did. I always feel like if there is accusations against my friend or somebody I know, it's better I believe my friend and doubt the allegations and then later be proven wrong than for me to believe the allegations and doubt my friend and then later it comes out that my friend was innocent and the allegations were false, right? And based on this kind of, because I value loyalty a lot as a virtue, I value loyalty. Based on this, it makes me very critical of who I call my friend. It makes me very selective of who is my friend, right? Secondly, for a lot of those kind of women, if the guy did not have money, the way they go vet them, they find reason to leave, right? Because say money did, then they find reason to stay. So a lot of the things that they would look at, they will not look. If you see a guy that owns a filling station, for instance, the guy there Akwa Ibom, he can't go one village from Sretai, go to filling stations, 20 pumping points. From Sretai, 20 pumps. And then that's just one of his big businesses. He goes to another place, builds one other business, those kind of big elephant project businesses. And for that filling station where in build, so every month then they do new AC, every month then they retire toilet, every month then they change roof. That's money laundering. That's a very good site for money laundering. And it is not that she would not know. She most likely, sorry, I think there might be an echo at that point. Might have an echo. It's most likely that she knows, she has her suspicions, but she has refused to confirm the suspicions. Because I mean, she's looking for reasons to stay.
That's true. You're right.
Exactly. Exactly. So if you can tame yourself. I was speaking to somebody in my office, was talking to me. He was saying that I'm just, because I said something about this kind of thing, and he was like, I'm just talking, that as much as I talk about it, women will always easily fall for money and men will always easily fall for women. And I'm saying, if you know that where you are, who you are, or the category you belong to, right, whether you're a category man or category woman, that they tends to be something that is a weakness for your category, then you should guard your heart against it. As a man, women are like the biggest, or one of the women and money are usually what is used to tempt men, that men fall the most for. So you should guard yourself against that. For women, it is money. You should guard yourself. I'm not saying looking for a man that has money or that can afford to take care of you is bad, but I am saying the aim should be survival and not extravagant greed. The aim should be survival and not greed. I'm not saying you should look.
Stop playing.
Truth is the truth, because if you think that money is the number one criteria, if you think that money is the number one criteria, and the only or the most, in fact, for a lot of those people, it is not just the most important, it is the only criteria for them. So once money has been met at such a level, every other thing is thrown out the window. They don't care. They don't want to even know, because if they know, maybe their conscience will hurt them a bit. So while they are seeing the signs, they have reasons to be suspicious. They refuse to confirm those suspicions, because it is better I don't know. What I don't know cannot kill me. Abi?
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know this argument. Abi, I'm saying this argument. No, we're not arguing. I mean, maybe because I today argue. This conversation has tilted in a way that it has gone toward another episode. So I think, in conclusion, or no, maybe you guys, is there anybody that wants to say something? I've done most of the speaking today. We're just so tired. Everybody had a very tough day.
Okay, so my own contribution will be like, first of all, like I said at the introduction, most of these practices and most of these behaviors, like when you have, so like I said, most of them stem from the family. Because I think when the upbringing is right, certain material, certain, let's say, Nollywood movies, certain music. So most of these practices, like I said, they can be copied from the upbringing, because like most of them, like it's how people grew up. Safe. People might grow up and not necessarily know the lyrics like Wisdom said, but when they come to realization and then certain factors are in, they start now reminiscing and they now get the meaning and the true picture of everything, and they will now think it's a normal thing to do. So I think first of all, parents and guardians should be able to control. There's what is called parental guidance. Even in movies you watch, you see PG and certain ages, not suitable for certain ages. Parents should be able to control what their children, especially the tender age, what they listen to, what they watch. You get me? And then second is self-control and self-contentment. Not everything you see on the TV is true. Most of those lifestyles, you see on the TV, they are so fake. The car is borrowed or leased for that video shoot. The money is fake money, like on set. You get me? The chain itself might just be borrowed too. You are borrowed.
Sorry, not just TV, even social media. Social media. What a lot of the guys we call celebrities that are staying in this Lekki, a lot of them you get money past them. Don't even allow me to.
So like what I said, like you watch music videos, you watch you listen to, or you watch Nollywood movies too, and then you now try to think you can imbibe what you are seeing. Get me? I think first of all, like a lot of control and discipline as a person. You have to learn to control what you take into yourself through your eyes. Get me? Through your eyes, through your hearing, and through even your head. It is very, very necessary. You get me? So you're not gonna like because you are seeing them train money anyhow. You think okay, the only way I can get that kind of money is fraud, and you get me? Because even those people, those artists, most of them they might be even owning their record labels. You don't know. So that's the next thing: discipline and self-control. And the first one is family. Parents should be eager to control their children and what they hear, what they see. Social media, parental guidance, not everything, not all that glitters is gold. The internet is a very fake place. So don't be pressured at all. You're doing well in your own capacity. You get me?
Thank you very much, Boom. You've spoken so well. I didn't even think of touching that area. Parents should really take advantage of parental guidance features on whatever Is it TV or whatever the kids have access to when they are watching, right? Now, aside that, in fact, basically parents should police the content their children consume, police it very well, because that's their future you're guarding against. Jennifer, I don't know if there's anything you want to say.
Yeah.
Funny feedback I'm getting on our sound. I don't know where it is coming from. I hope it turns out well.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Okay, so I will just hammer a little on what Boone said about the smallest or the basic unit of the society, which is the family. So for me, on the control part, what I would rather say is when you see your child, as a parent or as a guardian, you see your child come back with a phone that you didn't give them money to buy, please ask questions. It's even more rampant these days that a female child goes back and comes back with goodies and the mother is jubilating and not even asking questions how she was able to afford this. And I've even heard of cases that some mothers even send their girl children to even go out with men that have cars, go out with guys that look good to do, not even asking or really getting to the bottom of the whole conversation of how they are able to make such kind of monies. So for parents and guardians, it is important. There are cases we have here over in youth, children of about 16 years, 17 years hanging around plaza late at night and giving sex for just 1,000 naira. It's that bad. And then you speak to them, it's not going to work because the family was the first place that these moral decadence should have been controlled. So if the parents, if the guardians are not doing well, if you're not doing your job as a parent, the societies, they say the young people are the future of tomorrow. And if you're not playing your part as a father, as a mother, as a guardian, there is no way the society is going to be better. I'm not saying don't allow your child to breathe or don't allow, there are some children that know how to save money and buy these things, but always be sure to ask and be sure to check that what they are telling you is true. Then I'm going to also throw light on the adults. Bom also said, you are doing well, don't feel pressured. My own advice to any adults or any teenager that will come upon this podcast is don't be faster than your shadow in this life. Don't be faster than your shadow. In your time, everything is going to play out. I am a young girl in the media industry, and I used to tell people that if I'm doing what some of my babes are doing, I won't be here and I will go far. It's not like I'm judging them, but I know that in my time, those things will come to me legally. Those things will come to me without stress. So know where you are going to. And if you're a rich man's son or a rich man's daughter, please don't drag people that can't afford the lifestyle that you're living. Don't allow yourself to be the reason for someone putting their hands in a bad thing. So please, in all that you're doing, please don't be faster than your shadow in this life. Guy, you will still drink that wine. You will still live that life. Live it too. That's small. Don't be faster. Some people say, I want to japa. Okay, let's not even talk about japa codes yet. But please, in all you do, know that you have family and you have people that love you. So please try and desist from fraudulent activities. I know that money is sweet, but please try and get it legally.
And the church says, Amen.
Amen.
know the funny thing about whenever Jennifer comes on the show is that you will be talking and she'll not really be talking. And it's now when I want to round up, she will just be doing things to come. First of all, I'm going to say a few things. I think the sound problem is from my end. Okay. So I was saying, you said something that the children will bring back money and we bring back stuff that the parents cannot afford or they cannot afford. And then you say that sometimes even the mothers will be sending them out. You know, I like one thing that you did there unconsciously.
Yes.
You did it unconsciously. You actually accepted that it is the women that promote it on that angle. You did not say that.
Yes.
See that? You accepted that.
No, it's mostly mothers.
It's actually mothers. A lot of the times it's mothers. And for the boys, if they start doing things that are beyond them and they know it is fraudulent, especially if the father is still around, they will leave that house.
True. That's very true.
And leave. But if it is the mother that is still there, a lot of the times we're laughing with it. That's why I always say that a child needs two parents. A child needs two parents. There's why men are different from women.
But let's you know what, Chieftain, in the place that we are saying a child needs two parents, let's just communicate effectively here. For in case we have any single parent listening to this podcast, we're not saying because you're a single parent you cannot groom.
No, see what happens here. Ideally, a child needs two parents, but there are some situations where the child may not have two parents, either because the child was born out of wedlock, or one parent, or maybe divorce, or even in the case of divorce shouldn't stop it. Maybe one parent is deceased or something. The parent must not be biological. Right, the parent must not be biological. It's hard for one parent to be that balanced. It's the truth. It's very hard for that one parent to be that balanced. And however we try to do it, it is never going to be completely ideal that everybody has two parents. Sometimes I see some families and I wonder if the families even love themselves at all. If you love somebody, you want to protect that person. If you love somebody, you want to do good by that person. Protecting somebody includes not allowing the person to harm himself or herself, right? So in the case where a child begins to go towards fraud, that child is going towards self-harm. Whether we call it self-harm or not, that child is going towards self-harm. And then the parents are pushing that child in that direction. You begin to think, do they really love that child? Pushing your own 16-year-old to stand at plaza to sleep with men for money, do you really love that child? I mean, you just had that child as an income source. You know, it's like those days I used to say, the more children you have, the more farmland you can come. So this one, the more children you have, he says it's no more farmland.
No profit.
So you go put this one for Plaza, put the other one for Maitama, put the other one for Dot Ubo. With Dot Ubo you to have. How I even knew Dot Ubo also.
How did you know, Chieftain? How did you know these places?
I've lived in the over 20 years now. So
I mean, I didn't even know of Dot Ubo. Now you mentioned Dot Ubo.
There used to be a place at Dot Ubo, a white story building, but I think it was raided. I know that one of the governor's wives, I don't know if don't try to do something about that place. There used to be a white story building at Dot Ubo here. You don't think, Sha, I don't think that Dot Ubo is really hotbed again for that kind of business.
Yeah, we'll go and check.
There you go. Thank you. I know they go. That
I will go.
Even since when I was in secondary school that time and early university, I would see my town. Alright, so I was saying, you begin to wonder if they really love these children. And then, as a child, even after growing up to some level, in 2018, I think that was the year I had the biggest temptation to tend to go towards, because I had a lot of those kind of guys in my circle in 2018. Now, what you said your guy did, that's being a workman. You're not directly a Yahoo boy, but you're providing services to support the business. So they pay you for the services. You have a lot of them in your circle, right? And then you pretend you don't know what they are doing with the services. I mean, with the systems you're helping them with, right? That's what I actually thought of when I was that tempted. But then one thing that kept coming to my mind was, how do I explain that kind of money to my family? How? That I just I go buy Mercedes C300, that kind of thing. Begin to buy land, they build house. 2018 was 5 years ago. 5 years later, I never even reached that level. So clearly, if I had done those kind of things by 2018, it would have caused questions to be asked. Can I really live that kind of life? And I think that was one of the things that made me to really think about things a lot. That why I can't keep up with pushing wealth that I can't explain to my own family. I don't even mean to the public. I might say I don't owe the public any explanation, but to my family I owe them an explanation, right? So how children even grow up in a house where they can get to the level where they bring back things that are beyond the range that the parents can afford, or the range that they themselves can afford, and they even have the boldness to bring it back home. I don't understand whether the parents really did that kind of house. As I did like this, I was telling somebody, you can't bear my family's surname and act in certain ways. You can't. It's not like my family's surname is one big surname, but then there's that self-respect and respect for the family. You can't be acting in certain ways. This episode has gone way longer than it was supposed to go on for. So everybody out there.
Walai. Hunger, don't worry yourself.
I think hunger this time. Let me not say what I want to say. I'll say it after the record. When I turn off the recording, I'll say what I want to say. Oh yeah, now. So thanks very much for listening in. Today's discussion was a bit scattered, but I know we actually touched some very vital points. Next week we'll really hammer on this conversation of parenting and internet fraud, and we're going to try to do more justice to it in that direction. Thank you very much for listening in. Bye bye.
Abapanzi bavumile ukuba zifanelene thina zobabili masikunye siyajabula siyathandana aibazamilu zahlukanisa aibahluleka abaphansi bavumile ukuba sifanelene thina sobabili masifunye siyajabula jabula asibehevi munda asibehevi sibe moye asibehevi munda